a pure-blooded native of the Philippines, it is reasonable for me to talk about the happenings during the 19th century in our country, particularly during the 1872. It can be remembered that from the hands of the government, we suffered a lot of abuses, violence from them. And that is why we are awakened to fight against the government since we cannot bear it anymore. Going back to 1872, wherein the execution of the 3 Filipino priests Gomburza happened. 40,000 of the Filipinos from the different parts of our country such as Bulacan, Cavite, and Laguna joined to witness their execution. So in Bagong Bayan, by way of Garote, these Gomburza were killed. Even they were innocent. With that, with the objective of the Spaniards, based from one of the literature of one of our heroes in our country, it was written that, or stated there, that one of the objectives of the Spaniards is that to instill fear in the hearts of the Filipinos so that they will not do revolutionary activities again, or they will not have the courage to fight them. But it didn't happen. Instead of having fear in our hearts, we Filipinos become more brave and we exercise more courage to fight them. And at the end of the day, with the help of our heroes, we were able to have our freedom or independence in our country. And that is the biggest legacy that we can get. That we got, I should say.
1872 is indeed a historic year since two major events happened. First, the 1872 Cavite Mutiny on January 20, 1872. It is the uprising of 200 Filipino troops and workers at the Cavite Arsenal, which became the reason for Spanish repression of the embryonic Philippines nationalist movement, and the martyrdom of the 3 martyr priests in the persons of Fathers Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, commonly known as the Gomburza. The Gomburza was executed because they fight for what they believe in. They fight for the rights of their fellow native priests against Spanish abuses. They were executed by garrote on the early morning of February 17, 1872 by Spanish colonial authorities on charges of subversion arising from the 1872 mutiny. Their execution had a profound effect on the late 19th century Filipinos. Jose Rizal later became our country's national hero who dedicated his novel El Filibusterismo to their memory, to what they stood for, and to the symbolic height for deaths would henceforth hold.
1872 is a historic year of two events. First is the Cavite Mutiny, which is a major factor in the awakening of nationalisms among the Filipinos. The second one is the martyrdom of 3 priests, namely Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora. 1872 Cavite Mutiny was one of the most important events in the history. This brought us these objectives. First, to understand why 1872 Cavite Mutiny happened. Second, to know who technically instigated the said event. And lastly, to corroborate that the 3 secular priests were not implicated and conspired the mutiny.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Ante do, nadisculpo sinceramente. I sincerely apologize for the ruthless happenings in the 1872 mutiny. As a Spanish administrator, I tried and get a feeling for where the mutiny stands today as a part of the Philippine national story. That is not something I could assess in any adequate way from here to the other country. So for me, the primary cause of the mutiny is believed to be an order from the Governor General Rafael de Izquierdo to subject the soldiers of engineering and artillery corps to personal taxes from which they were previously exempt. And considering the four accounts of the 1872 mutiny, there were some basic facts that remained to be unviolated. First, there was dissatisfaction among the workers of the arsenal as well as the members of the native army after their privileges were drawn back by the governor general. So it's just so sad to think of the persecution of the people or the ruthless happenings in those times, wherein the Cavite mutiny led to the persecution of prominent Filipinos. So if I were to reflect or react to what had happened in 1872, I got this feeling that I am completely sad for what had happened to the Filipinos before. And besides, I really appreciate their sacrifices and efforts because it depicts what we who we are or what we are today. It really a reflection of who we are and what we are today.
As a Filipino citizen here in the Philippines, we always have the right to talk about the happenings in 1872. 1872 was the public execution of the three secular priests, which are the Gombursa, Jose Burgos, Mariano Gomez, and Jacinto Zamora. This priest was acknowledged by numerous figures of the time. It was a major catalyst that pushed the events forward, leading to the failed reformist agenda among Filipino liberals in Spain, pivoting the Philippine Revolution against Spain, which broke out in 1896.